Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Quantum Bridge, where we have Donal and Jasmine from Quantum Mogul back. Hello, guys. Welcome back.
How are you doing?
Hey, Gary and Casper. It's lovely for us to be back.
Welcome again. So, I'm going to hand over to Casper because I think he knows what we're talking about today. And as usual, I'm just sitting here, so going with the flow.
Taking it easy.
Trying to.
Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Gary, firstly. I do apologise. Thank you very much for that effervescent intro.
You're welcome, mate.
Now, yes, we have Donal and we have Jasmine again. We have Jasmine in a most excellent hat.
Thank you very much,
Yes,
gentlemen.
very glam.
Yeah, we'd love to sort of take up somewhat where we left off, because we have now covered quite a lot of ground, which is great. And thank you for being so open and for inviting both us and the audience into your world, because it's a very interesting one. And as we've mentioned before, the dynamic is so wonderful. So that's a lovely thing. And we'd just like, on behalf really of the audience, more than for ourselves now, to drill down on what Quantum Mogul might offer the wider world, what that might look like, and any of the associated dynamics around that. So just some sort of clarity around what people might be able to engage with and how that might work. So however you want to come at that is fine, but that will be a lovely starting point.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I actually am going to have Donal start off with a little bit about the breadth of who we help, because as we've had a lot of beautiful conversations, both in Zoom and also in person, people very interested to work with Quantum Mogul. There have been a couple of questions and actually misperceptions about who we help. A lot of people didn't even know that we have entry-level courses that are available right now that people are loving. And so, Donal, take it away.
I was going to get you to start. Anyway, yeah, thank you. So, yes, the thing about Quantum Mogul, and I think we said it in the first interview we ever had with you, was that we want to reach everybody. It may sound like an elite organization, but it's certainly not, right? We want to try to help everyone in the broad spectrum, and we do have entry-level figures out, which you, Jasmine, I think is better to go through that. But like the whole purpose of Quantum Mogul is, from where my side of it, right, was, my story was 10 years or 9 or 10 years ago when I sold the first company. I took a year and a half off. I toured the world. I seen what was missing, and it was clear that the world was missing a massive lack of education and health and wealth. And in 2015, I set on a journey to try to rectify that and to educate and to help as many people as I possibly could. I was on my own at the time doing it. And I've met some good people along the way. And then through a philanthropic organization that I'm involved with, Jasmine came the way, and we started Quantum Mogul because she was completely aligned 100% with what I was looking for, which was really to get the honest, in our opinion, the honest education out there of the way things work, both in health and wealth, and let people make up their own mind. And we with Jasmine's help and Quantum Mogul, it has helped us put a system in place. That was one thing that I knew that I needed, right, was to put a system in place so we could reach people successfully and digitally, and in this great world that we can reach the world now, and to be able to reach them at all levels. And Jasmine will go through all the programs we have and the prices and all that, but that really is the broad spectrum. And for me, it is very dear to me to help especially the employees of the world, the people that are in wages that are in a situation that inflation is killing them and they don't know why. I'm not that worried about the super rich. They can take care of themselves. I came from a very humble background myself, and these people are very dear to me, right? And I'd like to be able to leave that legacy with Quantum Mogul.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And before I met Donal, my work had really been in helping people create legacies, really structure their genius, and then also be able to reach more people with that genius and to collapse the timeline between them dreaming up their biggest milestones for life and legacy and the achievement of that. So sometimes collapsing things that might even be a multi-generational legacy of 100 years into a decade or less, or for someone who wanted to achieve something that was going to take a decade, to help them do that maybe within 18 months. And of course, all results are atypical and they depend on a lot of different factors. But when we came together, we really realized that we wanted to reach as many people as possible. And so I want to really help define who Quantum Mogul is for. It is for any person who believes that education is the pathway to increased sovereignty. It's for the curious. It is for the person, whether they are, even a teenager or, just going into college, to somebody who has a very successful business, or maybe has had, an 8-figure or 9-figure exit as well. It is a type of personality that is really attracted to Quantum Mogul. And that's a person who believes that they hold their destiny, they're captain of their own fate. They hold their destiny in their hands, and that education and knowledge is key. And that knowing about wealth creation and wealth preservation is what will create the actual path forward for them, as well as learning how to, and this is a lot of my teaching in our work together, how to be absolutely magnetic and irresistible to the meetings, the opportunities, and everything else that is required in terms of time and people resources, right, to achieve really massive goals. So Quantum Mogul is for the dreamer who is not afraid to be the doer, and who raises their hand when they say, hey, you know what? I like the vibe of these people. And rather than me struggling on my own, I want to, have access to a framework and a blueprint to forge my own success by actually, walking in the footsteps of people who hold the same values dear of sovereignty, education, expansion, and interconnection, right? And also visionaries. So people who are here to build the future now. So I think that really is the profile of the curious, the doer, and the person who's ready to say yes. Now, what that looks like practically is that we have our own podcast that is launching. We have almost our first full season recorded. And that's the Quantum Mogul podcast, where everyone can learn from our guests as well. And we are interviewing some of the most exciting minds in future technologies like quantum technologies and robotics and innovation, but also we'll be interviewing in the worlds of precious metals and real assets, things like, gold and silver investing. And we'll have on other different types of creative and artistic visionaries as well, because it really takes these geniuses in different areas to build the new earth that we're all so excited to experience together. So that's one way that viewers can stay in touch with our journey. Another way is obviously to access some of our free trainings. We've got 2 masterclasses, a financial masterclass and a sales masterclass. And why we chose these masterclasses is because these are the areas we saw people struggling in the most. People with big dreams, big visions, and they literally didn't know how to get to the next couple of steps so they would have their resources and momentum to build big, right? So sales, the reason why that's so important is you need to be able to enroll other people into your vision. If you have a big vision, it'll probably need to be at some point beyond that one person, right? And so you need an audience, or you need people who are going to benefit from your services. So that's why we created the free sales masterclass. And if people enjoy that, they definitely have access, and we've even had people purchase that right away. We have a course that's about $3,000 at the moment. That will probably increase, but that's called Quantum Mogul Magnetic Mastery. But we also have courses, 3 courses actually, for under $1,000. So those are Billionaire Leverage, where you actually get to learn the principles of how to take an idea and leverage time and money to create massive success in a very reduced portion of time. And the biggest thing that we've seen in our consulting separately, and then when we came together, that is often missing is goal setting. And once you've set these goals, how do you stay accountable and consistent to be able to achieve them? So we're not only talking about that in this course, we give you a goal tracking tool. We give you all of the ways to actually program your phone or stay accountable if you don't have a group or if you're not in our membership. So you can, as a member of our course, you have access to goal setting secrets that have helped billionaires. It helps people starting out from zero. And why it's so important is it's a framework and a tool that allow anyone with a vision to really achieve that vision concretely. Because where we see that we stand out in a sea of genius, educational providers at Quantum Mogul, is that we're really giving people practical tools while helping them expand their vision. So we're working on things like mindset, money mindset, or limiting beliefs, and that bigger vision at the same time as we're helping people stay accountable and learn the exact steps to focus on each and every day to create that consistency, which will create that momentum. And as you say, it goes slow until it goes fast.
That's right.
Right. And so there is this ramp up effect or this acceleration effect that happens when you combine the energetic work, the mindset work, the big picture vision expanding work with the educational work, right? So the other offering that we have is a mastermind for a whole year. And that currently is $3,000. And that actually has access to us once a month. We do a laser coaching masterclass where we'll go in and we'll see what people's visions are, whether they're artists or they're in business, and we'll really be able to help them see what may be blocking them and, give really personalized and tailored tips and advice to how do you get momentum behind that greater vision. Then we have, as people want to work more on one-on-one with us, we have our one-on-one consulting. We have our VIP day, which is Quantum Mogul Legacy. We also have a 90-day program where people will work with us personally, and that's Quantum Mogul Empire. And then we have our 9-month program, which is Quantum Mogul Stellium. And depending on what the needs of people are, that is a 5 to 6 figure, and our highest level, most personalized work is a 7-figure investment. So we really are available to the creative visionaries who have already maybe created great success, but are ready to take that and create big movements, big revolutions with their work, to people who want to be part of our podcast community and have access to our incredible experts and our own teachings. And so that's pretty much the gamut of what we share. And we have a new initiative, which is Quantum Mogul Philanthropic Futures. We're bringing together philanthropies and business people and the best practices so that people starting out can figure out, well, how would I even get funding for my philanthropy? How do I learn the sales skills to get sponsorship and enroll people? So this is a new initiative as well. And anyone who wants to be part of that, for the moment, it's an open think tank group. So we'd love to talk to you. And again, people can reach out at contact@quantumempire.com.
Right. How long has this been going? It's very new, isn't it? With all this module.
Yes. So our programs, like we have about how many years? Is it more than 50 years between us?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
How old we are. When it comes to consulting and obviously your business
sales,
success.
yeah.
And then when it comes to our programs, we have 3 courses and our membership, and we've had that since probably the last 3 months or so. That's now open to the public. So it's very exciting.
And the reason we came together with that is that we were both having great success individually. But I knew that I was missing the technological side of it. And it was easy to say, yes, why don't you go and hire a company to put the technological side in? But that's not what I was looking for, because I wanted somebody that would, just technology is one thing, but I wanted somebody that actually saw the full picture, the full vision, right, of what the world was really needing. Technology is one thing, but it was just, I wanted somebody that had gone down this road, like in a quantum field, that actually I knew was the future, and that we could have it sustainable, and not just a system, a sustainable system that we could expand, because it was the same end goal. So that was the reason that I just didn't hire it, because it was not, that's not what I was looking for. So
we had to build the legacy together.
Totally. So it took me a couple of years, right, to actually see that and then through the philanthropy organization, I have met some very interesting people through it. But Jasmine was definitely the most interesting person I met through it, because she was exactly on the same wavelength, coming at it from the quantum side. And I said, I'm coming at it from this side, and I have done this, right, with businesses and sales, and I have all the success with that, right, and monetization and all that. But can you see, right, how we could do it together right this way? And that's why Quantum Mogul was put together. And we have all these courses. And basically why Quantum Mogul Philanthropic Solutions is there, right? Because we have the backing now, right? We have all the programs in place that can support that. With people coming like a think tank idea, right? But they have we can say, yes, that is a good idea, and this is the way we would do it. We have that program for that program for that, and the monetization for this. So it's not just a think tank for the fun of it. It's a think tank that can actually move when the right product and service has been discovered. So this is why we were able to do the Philanthropic Futures, because we are in a position to do that. And that was something I always wanted to do. I was not in a position to do that without the systems and the visionaries in the same place,
And that's really why I found it so beautiful to create this legacy business together with Donal, because I knew that financial education, finance is such a taboo, but financial education that promotes sovereignty, that is actually being tested in the market, that someone has created multiple billion-dollar exits with, like that was a level of financial expertise and knowledge that very few people would ever have access to. And part of financial sovereignty for me is sharing the knowledge with as many people as are interested. And then, yes, say that's so important, instead of maybe investing in, going out to the pub or this or that, I'm going to invest in some gold for myself. I'm going to invest in some education for myself. I'm going to prioritize my higher values of evolution and my higher values of expansion and contributing from the inner artist that I am. So that was what was so valuable, because even in my coaching, I help people achieve, like, playing on Grammy winning records, becoming vice president in one of the top 5 banks in the world, in an area, in 18 months instead of 10 years, breaking through the 40K a month barrier. So it wasn't like finance was new to me, but the foundational principles on finance, where money comes from, and different paths. Remember, this is education, not investment advice, but different paths of education to financial sovereignty. I felt that would be such a beautiful marriage. And that was, how Quantum Mogul really began.
And finally, as well, I knew that I couldn't have been the only person in the world that had an aligned idea with a vision that was like this. I knew I couldn't be on my own. But on my own, I was finding it very difficult to get my message across, right? I was doing the best I could, and I was with people that were very focused on money. That was not what exactly I was looking for. I was looking for people that understood that money is important, but not everything. And could I find someone? And I used to ask them the question, would you like to be involved in some philanthropic work with me? And the answer was clear, no. I am X age, and I want to make as much money now before I die. That's clearly not what I was looking for, right? But I have worked with those people. I have no problem with these people. So I know now that we hope, and it's working, because we see the people that's coming to us, that Quantum Mogul is a beacon of light to people. Say, finally, there is an organization, there's 2 people, right, that are actually doing this, right? And we have all this access to them for free, and then, right, if we want to be deeper with them, right, we can be deeper with them. And it's really encouraging with meetings we're having as late as today to see the reaction we're getting. And finally, I feel really happy that I'm at this position after 8 years.
Yeah, in launch mode, it's quite good. But it's coming
Yeah.
together now. Yeah, yeah. We
Yes.
spoke with another lady who was talking about the financial system and the merging of the sort of the money and the spiritual bit. That there's a balance to be had there, which is like what you're both talking about. You know, it's not just money. It needs to have that other aspect. It's gone a little out of kilter over time. So.
It's what, of course, the money can do. I mean, it's like there is this thing that money is the root of all evil, and we all know that that's not true, right? It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. But we're not going to go down the road of cliches, right? We just simply, we know that money is needed. But if that's the only thing that's in your head, then you really, I have never seen it working. You always come a cropper somewhere along the line with it, right? Because it's a very shallow thing. If it is all material to you, if everything is material, that it is about the big house, the big cars, the big boats, the big planes, the big helicopters, if that's all it is, it will run out, right? You know, there isn't enough juice in it. Whereas
when you're connected to your passion,
totally,
yeah.
Like it astonishes me, right, that people that have that ability they don't see, right, that to help their local community, expand it from there. Just charity begins at home. Help them, and really truly from your heart help them. And it's not giving them the money. See, this is the thing. It's the education that's so important, right? It's teaching the person to fish, not giving them the fish. But you need the money to do it. But the education is more important to me, which is why we've put these systems together.
Yes, and why we're so passionate about the free master classes that we've created. One of them is, how to attract ideal clients and partnerships without burning out. Because we saw one of the biggest problems at every level after an exit, people have a dip, even if they sold the company for 50 million. After, some months in a new startup, people don't have a balance between relaxation, and you can tell I'm a former yoga teacher, and taking care of, the body, mind, spirit, right? They get out of kilter. And so we wanted to just collapse our bet. We even have a free gift, which is our client magnet playbook with 22 tips to really make you magnetic so that your energy and your frequency, along with your intention and your commitment, can just make it so much easier for you. Because if you're not interested in attracting clients, but it's more partnerships for you, let's say you're an artist and you're looking for an agent, or you want distribution, right? These are the same skills that can help you without burning out. Because if you stop, if you quit, if you burn out, we might not see the wonderful, beautiful creations that you hold inside your heart and your soul. And
there's many people have gone to their grave like that,
who have died, unfortunately, with the genius inside. And, as genius accelerators, we put together these master classes so we can show another way. It's not the way, but it might be your way if you resonate with us.
Absolutely.
A couple of things that you might like to think about as we come towards a close. And Gary very kindly mentioned this other guest that we've had recently, a lady called Barbara. And really what I found most one of the things I found most compelling about her message, because it has some resonance with what we're all sharing now, was this thing of the continuation of that sort of inventive mind and letting that seed grow. So not just doing this thing of, bosh, I've put something out, I've made some quick money. It might be a lot of money. That all falls away. Let's reinvent the wheel. Let's come up with something new based on a paradigm of just making money. Whereas actually, if you'd nurtured that initial piece of creativity, you wouldn't necessarily always need to be setting up and folding the company because you've sold it or you've managed to exit at a lovely thing. Those are all fine. None of us are making value judgments about them. And maybe many of us and many of the audience have done that in the past, and maybe not. But the key thing for me is that thing of that creation and that creativity shouldn't then be just chopped in half by the money aspect. Not least because actually you might make more money out of doing it in a more
golden goose. Golden goose. Yeah.
That is exactly it, Casper. That is exactly the message. I agree totally with this lady, right? Because yes, there is nothing like I've had many different exits, right? But it was always, I always had it in my heart, what could I do better? Like, I mean, like if I died the next morning, now, what difference was it, right? You know, it like what kind of a legacy was left there that could be sustainable and not be torn apart by fighting with families and children fighting over the spoils of a successful person in a family. That I certainly didn't want to see. I wanted it in a position, right, that it was completely set up in a structure, but I wanted it to be perpetual, which is, of course, where our monetization comes in. And this, of course, is where our deeper courses, when we go into the bigger courses, why people do pay us the 6 and 7 figures to know exactly how to do this. And we can actually truly, that's why it's a bespoke thing, and we have to fill out questionnaires and figure out who are you and what are you looking for. But certainly that is the secret to whatever success you have in your life, how could you make that last for 2 and 3 and 400 years? That is the real legacy of Quantum Mogul.
And I love that you've brought this theme forward, Caspa, because we believe at Quantum Mogul that we are the leading legacy amplifiers and accelerators on the planet. And we're so dedicated to this that we've actually decided to make our social media also our platform, so that we are continually sharing with people totally for free the nuggets, because money loves a purpose. So when you're connected to your passion and your purpose, that is a huge part of it. But then how do you create the structure for it to be able to be enjoyed by the most people? And what happens after you go? How could part of your legacy live on in perpetuity? And this is about nurturing that beautiful seed that you have, so that that tree will live on forever, and you can even plant a whole forest. So it's about, you are that living seed, and the more that you nurture yourself and you build the structures in order to support your legacy, like the ability to take your genius and distill it into a system, into a blueprint, into a framework that can help others, then suddenly you have the most incredible IP ever. There's no one on the planet with your set of skills and gifts, and you have a path to take people from where they are to where they need to go in record time, because people will pay for solutions. They'll pay for speed, and they will pay for the depth of the solution and the depth of the implementation. So that is a lovely part of legacy, to see how can you structure what you have inside, and instead of having to start all sorts of new things all the time, how can you take everything you are and create your legacy out of everything that you truly deeply love and you truly deeply stand for. And that's where I think we really excel at Quantum Mogul.
Brilliant. Well, as we only have a few minutes anyway, and that's such a lovely place to end for this time. As ever, we hope that you will consider coming back and talking to us again. But actually, maybe even more importantly at the moment, I'm sure Gary and I, and I'm sure the audience too, would like to wish you, I'm sure you'll have it anyway, but every success with your own podcast and your own new venture. It's a lovely time that we happen to cross paths. And I hope that our platform has also and will give a certain lift and a certain type of energy back to what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. It's
much.
an ecosystem, and we would love for you guys to be guests on our season as well.
Well, that's very kind. That's very kind. Okay, great. Well, for now, from the guys at Quantum Mogul and from the guys also at Quantum Bridge, see you next time. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.